I knew something was off the moment David's hand lingered too long on the waitress's lower back. Most people wouldn't have caught it, just a brief touch as he squeezed past her to return to our table. But I've learned to spot the subtle signs, the way his fingers curved possessively, how his eyes followed her retreating form for just a heartbeat too long. My best friend Clara beamed at him from across the table, radiant in the soft lighting of her favorite restaurant. "Thank you for such a perfect birthday dinner, honey." The candlelight caught the delicate silver necklace David had given her earlier, a beautiful piece that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I took another sip of wine, forcing a smile. "The food is amazing, Clara, though I still say you should have let me host at my place like usual. And miss out on David's surprise?" Clara reached for her husband's hand. "He knows how much I love Bellinis. Remember when we had our first date here?" David's answering smile didn't quite reach his eyes. I'd been noticing that more lately. The microscopic tells, the fractional delays in his responses. Little things that needled at my instincts, honed sharp by experience. "How could I forget?" He squeezed Clara's fingers. "Though I think Shiloh here was skeptical about us at first. Can you blame me? I'm protective of my best friend." I kept my tone light, playful, even as I catalogued the way his jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. The waitress returned with our desserts, Clara's eyes lighting up at the towering slice of tiramisu. I watched David watch the waitress, another lingering look, another ghost of a smirk. My phone buzzed, a text from Gabriella. "Still on for coffee tomorrow. Need your advice on something. Earth to Shiloh." Clara's laugh pulled me back. "You're a million miles away tonight." "Sorry, work stuff." I tucked my phone away. You know how it gets this time of year. "All you do is work. When are you going to let me set you up with someone? David's friend Marcus is single now." "Clara," I shot her a warning look. "We've talked about this. I just want you to be happy. Not everyone is like—" "Don't." The word came out sharper than I intended. 5 years later, and Jason's betrayal still had teeth. David cleared his throat. "More wine, ladies?" He signaled the waitress before either of us could answer. I watched him charm her, watched the practiced ease of his flirtation, subtle enough to seem innocent, professional enough to pass as politeness, but I recognized the dance, had seen it before, had been burned by it before. Clara was telling me about her plans to redo their guest room, her face animated with excitement. I nodded along, trying to focus on her words instead of the sick feeling in my stomach. The way David's wedding ring caught the light as he handed the waitress his credit card, the too familiar curve of his smile. "We should do this more often," Clara said as we gathered our things. "I miss our regular dinners. Work's been crazy." I hugged her tight, breathing in her familiar vanilla perfume. "But yes, let's plan something soon." David's arm slid around Clara's waist. "Thanks for coming out tonight, Shiloh. Always good to see you." I met his gaze steadily. Wouldn't miss it. Outside, the autumn air was crisp with approaching winter. I watched them walk to their car, Clara tucked against David's side, her laughter floating back to me. They looked perfect together. They always had. My phone buzzed again at 2 a.m. Clara's name lit up my screen. Her voice was raw, broken. "Shiloh, I need you. Please. I think David is—" The rest dissolved into sobs. But I already knew. I'd seen it coming, had been watching the signs stack up like dominoes waiting to fall. I was already pulling on shoes, grabbing my keys. "I'm on my way. Just breathe, honey. I'm coming." The line went dead. I stood in my dark apartment, keys digging into my palm. The sick feeling from dinner had crystallized into something harder, colder. Because now I had a choice to make. I could be the supportive friend, help Clara pick up the pieces, or I could be something else entirely. David's smirk flashed in my memory. The waitress, the wedding ring, Clara's broken voice. My fingers brushed the recorder in my purse, the one I'd started carrying to meetings months ago, the one that had been running all through dinner. Sometimes being a good friend means getting your hands dirty, and I've never been afraid of a little dirt. The recording played for the third time, David's voice filling my darkened living room. Just a matter of timing. Clara's too trusting, she'll never suspect. Once the merger goes through next month. A woman's laugh, intimate and knowing. You're terrible. That's why you love me. I stopped the playback, my hands shaking. 3 hours had passed since Clara's call, since I'd found her curled on her kitchen floor, clutching her phone. The screen still showed the messages she'd discovered, dozens of them between David and his assistant, Rebecca. Photos, plans, promises. The irony of catching it all on my recorder felt like fate's twisted joke. I'd started carrying it after overhearing David on a suspicious call at work last week. Thought maybe he was up to something shady with the merger. Instead, I'd captured something far more personal. My phone lit up. Gabriella. I let it go to voicemail. She'd been trying to reach me since I'd texted that I was with Clara, probably worried I'd do something rash. She knew my history with Jason too well. A soft knock at my door made me jump. Clara stood there, mascara streaked down her cheeks, still wearing her birthday dress from dinner. I couldn't stay in that house. I pulled her into a hug. You don't have to. She collapsed onto my couch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. I keep thinking I must have read it wrong, that there has to be some explanation. My fingers tightened around the recorder in my pocket. I could show her right now, let her hear his betrayal in his own words. But the broken look in her eyes stopped me. What did he say when you confronted him? He denied everything, said Rebecca's just a friend, that I'm being paranoid. She wrapped her arms around herself. Maybe I am. Maybe... Stop. I sat beside her, taking her trembling hands in mine. Trust your instincts. Like you did with Jason. The name hit like a slap. That was different. Was it? Clara's voice cracked. You were so sure he was cheating. You followed him, gathered evidence, destroyed your relationship, and it turned out he was planning a surprise party. I pulled away, old shame burning hot. This isn't about me. I know you're trying to protect me, but I can't just throw away my marriage based on some texts that might not mean what I think. My phone buzzed again. Gabriella's third attempt. She'd warned me about this too, how my past could color my judgment, make me see betrayal where it might not exist. But the recording burned in my pocket like a live coal. This wasn't paranoia. This was real. Clara's phone chimed. David's name appeared on her screen. She stared at it, tears falling fresh. Don't answer it, I said. She reached for the phone. He's my husband. He's lying to you. You don't know that. She stood suddenly, swaying slightly. God, I shouldn't have called you. I knew you'd jump straight to the worst conclusion. Clara, no, I love you, Shiloh, but you're not objective about this. Not after Jason. The recorder felt heavier with each passing second. One press of a button would prove everything. But Clara's words echoed in my head. Not objective. Jumping to conclusions. Seeing betrayal everywhere. She gathered her purse with shaking hands. I need to go home. Talk to him properly. Please don't. I stepped between her and the door. Stay here tonight. Give yourself time to think. I can't. She hugged me briefly, her tears dampening my shoulder. Thank you for being here, but I need to handle this my way. The door clicked shut behind her. I stood frozen, the recording burning a hole in my pocket, my best friend's footsteps fading down the hall. My phone buzzed one final time. Gabriella. Whatever you're thinking of doing, sleep on it first. I pulled out the recorder, David's damning words just a button press away. Clara was walking into a trap, about to let him gaslight her into doubting her own instincts, just like Jason had almost done to me. Except I'd been wrong about Jason, catastrophically, unforgivably wrong. But this time was different. This time I had proof. I plugged the recorder into my laptop, fingers hovering over the keyboard. One email could blow everything wide open. Send the recording to Clara, to their families, to the board of directors David was trying to deceive. The cursor blinked, waiting for my decision. Protection or destruction. Truth or trust. The line between justice and revenge had never felt thinner. I opened a new email and started typing. The coffee shop buzzed with morning energy, but Gabriella's expression was pure thunder. "Tell me you didn't send that email." I stirred my untouched latte. I had to do something. Creating an anonymous account to send David's boss evidence of an affair. She leaned forward. "That's not something, Shiloh, that's revenge. It's justice." The words sounded hollow even to me. I'd been up all night after hitting send, alternating between fierce satisfaction and gnawing doubt. He's using the merger to hide money from Clara. She deserves to know. "And you think destroying his career is the way to tell her?" My phone lit up. Clara again. I'd been dodging her calls since she left my apartment last night. "He's destroying himself. I'm just speeding up the inevitable." "Like you did with Jason." I slammed my cup down, coffee sloshing over the rim. "Stop bringing him up. This is different." "Is it?" "Because from where I'm sitting, I'm watching my friend make the same mistake twice." The bell above the door chimed. I glanced up and froze. Jason himself walked in, 5 years older but instantly recognizable. He hadn't seen me yet. "Speak of the devil," Gabriella muttered. I slid lower in my seat, pulse racing. "I need to go." "Running away? That's new." Her sarcasm cut deep. "I can't deal with him right now." "Then deal with me. What's your endgame here? Best case scenario, David loses his job. Worst case, you lose Clara." "I'm trying to protect her." "No." Gabriella's voice softened. "You're trying to protect yourself from watching someone else get hurt the way you thought you were hurt." Jason was ordering at the counter. Any second he'd turn and see me. My hands shook as I gathered my things. "Clara called me this morning," Gabriella said. "She and David talked all night. He showed her all his emails, his phone, gave her all his passwords." The sick feeling in my stomach intensified. "He's covering his tracks. Or maybe you're seeing what you want to see." I stood abruptly, nearly knocking over my chair. Jason turned at the noise. Our eyes met across the cafe. Recognition, surprise, something else I couldn't name. "Shiloh." He took a step toward me. I fled. Outside, the morning air did nothing to cool the burning in my chest. My phone buzzed again. A text from Clara. "We need to talk, please." A reply from David's boss popped up. "Anonymous allegations require substantial evidence. Recording appears edited. Matter closed." "Shiloh, wait." Jason's voice behind me sent me walking faster, but his longer stride caught up easily. "Just give me a minute," he said. "Please." I spun to face him. "What could you possibly have to say after 5 years?" "I'm sorry." The simple words knocked the wind from me. "What happened between us, I handled it badly." "Badly?" I laughed bitterly. "I accused you of cheating and you let me believe I was crazy for weeks." "Because I was trying to keep the proposal a surprise. I never thought you'd destroy everything." My voice cracked. "Trust me, I know exactly what I did." He ran a hand through his hair, a nervous gesture I remembered too well. "That's not... I should have just told you the truth. Watching you spiral, thinking the worst, I was wrong to let it go so far." My phone buzzed again. "Clara, David showed me everything, including the email his boss got this morning. I know it was you." The world tilted sideways. All my certainty, all my righteous anger drained away, leaving only the hollow echo of the past. "I have to go." I stepped back from Jason, from the weight of old mistakes. "Shiloh." He caught my arm gently. "Don't let what happened with us poison everything else in your life. You deserve better than that." I pulled away, but his words followed me down the street. My phone kept buzzing. Clara, Gabriella, now a message from David himself. "We need to talk about what you're doing to my wife." The recording sat heavy in my bag, suddenly less damning than it had seemed last night. What if I was wrong again? What if I was seeing betrayal through the warped lens of my own past? Or what if I was right, and letting my guilt about Jason blind me to real danger? A new text lit up my screen. From Vicente, a colleague in IT. "Found something interesting in David's company emails. Call me." My finger hovered over his name. One call could change everything, confirm my suspicions, or destroy them completely. I pressed dial. Vicente's voice crackled through my phone. These emails are encrypted, but there's definitely a pattern. Large transfers, offshore accounts, all tied to the merger. I paced my office, blinds drawn against the afternoon sun. Show me. Not over the phone. Meet me at Murphy's in an hour. A knock at my door made me jump. David stood in the doorway, his usual polished smile nowhere in sight. We need to talk. I ended the call, heart hammering. I'm busy. Too busy to discuss how you're trying to destroy my marriage. He closed the door behind him. The soft click felt like a trap springing shut. I'm not the one destroying anything. I gripped the edge of my desk, grateful for its solid barrier between us. No? He pulled out his phone. Let's see. Anonymous emails to my boss, accidentally, forwarding Clara old photos of me with my ex, calling our wedding venue to cancel our anniversary dinner reservation. That last one wasn't me. The realization hit like ice water. I wasn't the only one watching him. Clara trusts you, he continued. God knows why, after what you did to Jason. My fingers twitched toward my bag, where the recorder sat waiting. Does she trust you showing up at my office unannounced? She knows I'm here. His smile returned, sharp as a blade. She's worried about you, Shiloh. We both are. This paranoid vendetta, seeing threats everywhere. Maybe you should talk to someone. The same words Jason had used, right before everything imploded. I forced my voice steady. I have a meeting. Of course. He stepped aside, but his next words froze me at the door. Just remember, Clara can only handle so many betrayals, even from her best friend. The hallway felt too bright, too exposed. I ducked into the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. My phone buzzed with a text from Clara. David told me he's talking to you. Please listen to him. I'm worried. Another from Vicente. Can't make Murphy's. Something came up. Be careful, someone accessed my computer. The walls seemed to close in. I needed air, needed to think. The elevator took forever, each floor bringing fresh waves of doubt. What if David was right? What if I was seeing conspiracies where there were none? The lobby doors opened to autumn sunshine, and Aidan, Clara's brother, waiting on the steps. Going somewhere. His usual warmth was missing. What are you doing here? Protecting my sister. He fell into step beside me. Remember when we were kids and that boy broke her art project? You convinced her to put purple dye in his shampoo. He deserved it. Maybe, but Clara got suspended too, because she trusted you more than her own judgment. I stopped walking. That was 20 years ago. And you haven't changed. He caught my arm. I've watched you do this before, Shiloh. With Jason, with your sister. You get an idea in your head and damn the consequences. You don't know what's really happening. I know Clara's crying every night. I know David's getting death threats at work. I know you're meeting someone named Vicente who's been digging through private company files. My blood ran cold. How did you... Because I've been watching too. His grip tightened. Whatever you think you found, whatever crusade you're on, stop, before you lose everything. Again. I yanked away. You're also worried about me destroying Clara's life. Has anyone considered I might be saving it? From what? A husband who adores her. A marriage that was perfect until you started seeing things. My phone buzzed. Vicente. Found something big. Meet tonight. Usual place. I have to go. I stepped back from Aidan, from his knowing eyes and painful truths. Shiloh. His voice followed me down the street. The difference between justice and obsession is knowing when to stop. But I couldn't stop. Not with Vicente's message burning in my pocket. Not with David's smirk playing on repeat in my mind. Not with the weight of all my past mistakes pressing down, demanding either redemption or repetition. My phone lit up one final time. An email from an anonymous account. I know what David's really doing, and I can prove it. Meet me at midnight. The sender's address looked familiar. the same format as the account I'd created to email David's boss. Someone else was watching. Someone else knew. I wasn't crazy, I wasn't seeing things. Unless I was. Unless this was exactly what everyone feared. Another spiral, another Jason, another bridge burned in the name of protecting someone who didn't need protection. The real question wasn't whether I could trust David, it was whether I could trust myself. The storage room smelled like dust and old coffee. Vicente's usual place turned out to be the basement of his favorite cafe, lit by a single bare bulb. He hunched over his laptop, fingers flying across the keys. "Show me," I said. "First, tell me why you're really doing this." He didn't look up. "Because if this is about Jason..." "It's not." I leaned against a stack of boxes. "Why are you helping me?" His typing paused. "Because 2 years ago, David Harrison ruined my sister's life. She found evidence of financial fraud at their company. He buried it, got her fired, blacklisted. She moved to Argentina to start over." The pieces clicked. "That's why you've been tracking his emails." "Looking for proof." He turned the screen toward me. "Look at these transactions, all routed through shell companies, all tied to the merger. He's stealing millions." My hands shook as I scrolled through the documents. Dates, amounts, offshore accounts. A web of deception that went far beyond a simple affair. "Clara's trust fund is mixed up in this," Vicente said quietly. "He's using her money to cover his tracks." My phone buzzed, the anonymous emailer again. "Midnight. Don't be late." "I have to go." I straightened up. "Send me copies of everything." "Shiloh." Vicente's voice stopped me. "Be careful. David's got powerful friends." The night air bit through my jacket as I walked. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since morning. Clara, Gabriella, Aiden, all trying to talk me down. All thinking they knew what this was about. But they didn't know about Vicente's sister, about Clara's money, about the depth of David's lies. The anonymous emailer had chosen a deserted park. I checked my phone, 11:58 p.m. The swings creaked in the wind, empty seats casting long shadows. "Hello, Shiloh." I spun around. Deborah stood there, my sister, whom I hadn't spoken to in 3 years, not since I'd exposed her husband's gambling addiction to their entire family. "What are you doing here?" "Stopping you from making my mistake." She stepped closer. "I'm the one who's been emailing you." "You've been watching David?" "I've been watching you." Her voice softened. The emails to his boss, the cancelled reservation, the desperate digging for proof. It's exactly what I did. And look where it got me. This is different. Is it? Or are you just better at justifying it? She pulled out her phone. "Want to know what Clara texted me today?" My throat tightened. "You're talking to Clara?" "She's worried sick. Says you won't answer her calls, won't listen to reason. Says you're acting just like you did with Jason." "Stop." I turned away. "You don't know what David's really doing." "Maybe not. But I know what you're doing. Destroying relationships, burning bridges, all in the name of justice." She caught my arm. "Just like I did." "Your husband was stealing from you." "Yes, and I was right. And being right cost me everything." Her voice cracked. "My marriage, my friends, my relationship with you, all gone because I couldn't let it go. Couldn't trust anyone else to handle it." My phone buzzed again. Vicente. "David's accessing the files. He knows we looked." "I have proof," I said. "Real proof this time." "That's what I said too." Deborah's grip tightened, right up until the moment I realized being right wasn't worth being alone. Another text. "Clara, please come over. I need my best friend." "Go home, Shiloh." Deborah released me. "Before you end up like me." But I was already pulling up Vicente's files, turning the screen toward her. "Look, really look. This isn't paranoia or revenge. Clara's in danger and she doesn't even know it." She studied the documents, her expression shifting. "These transfers..." "He's stealing everything, using Clara's trust fund to cover his tracks. Just like Marcus did to me." She looked up, eyes sharp. "You have a plan?" "Maybe." I hesitated. But I need help. No. She stepped back. I can't get involved. Not again. Deb, please. You're the only one who understands what's really at stake. Another text lit up my phone. David. We should discuss what you and Vicente found. Tomorrow. Alone. Deborah read it over my shoulder. I watched the familiar battle play out on her face. Protection versus preservation. Justice versus peace. Okay, she finally said, but we do this smart. No scorched earth, no public destruction. We protect Clara without destroying ourselves. My phone buzzed one final time. Vicente. Files are gone. Everything's been wiped, but I kept copies. First, Deborah said, we need to talk to Clara. The right way this time. I stared at David's message, my sister's words echoing in my head. The right way. Not like Jason. Not like before. Tomorrow, I said. We'll talk to her tomorrow. But first, I had a meeting with David. David chose a private booth at the back of an upscale bar. Late morning sunlight filtered through stained glass, casting colored shadows across his perfect suit, his practiced smile, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Drink? He gestured to the martini already waiting for me. It's 11 a.m. Special occasion. He sipped his own drink. After all, it's not every day someone tries to hack company servers. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Probably Deborah, wondering why I'd agreed to meet him alone. I'd silenced Clara's calls completely, couldn't bear to hear her voice until this was finished. Vicente's sister says hello, I said. The first crack in his composure, a slight tightening around the eyes. Ah, that explains some things. Like why he helped me find your offshore accounts. Those files were encrypted, not well enough. I pulled out my phone, pulled up the copies Vicente had saved. Want to explain why Clara's trust fund is being funneled through shell companies in Panama? He leaned back, studying me. You know what your problem is, Shiloh? You're so busy looking for monsters, you create them everywhere you go. The numbers don't lie. No, but they can be misinterpreted. He slid a folder across the table. Like these bank statements showing Clara authorized every transfer, or these emails where she specifically requested the offshore accounts. My hands shook as I opened the folder. Clara's signature, Clara's emails, Clara's explicit instructions, all dated months ago. She's protecting her inheritance, David said softly. From her brother's gambling debts, the same brother you've been conspiring with. Aiden owes hundreds of thousands to some very dangerous people. Clara's been helping him in secret for months. He took another sip. But you'd know that if you'd actually talked to her instead of playing detective. My phone buzzed again. This time I checked it. Deborah. Don't trust anything he shows you. Classic misdirection. Still getting instructions from your sister? David's smile turned sharp. How is Deborah? Still bitter about her own failed crusade. Ice spread through my veins. How did you... I do my research too. He leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to drop this vendetta, delete the files, forget what you think you know. Go apologize to Clara for doubting her judgment. Again. Or what? Or those dangerous people Aiden owes money to might discover who's been helping him hide assets. And wouldn't it be tragic if Clara had to choose between saving her brother and keeping her best friend out of prison for conspiracy? My throat closed up. You're bluffing. Try me. He stood, straightening his jacket. You have until tonight to decide. Clara's hosting a dinner party. Close friends only. Come apologize, or I start making calls. He left me sitting there, staring at the documents that had seemed so damning an hour ago. My phone buzzed repeatedly. Deborah, don't let him get in your head. Vicente, those emails are dated wrong. The metadata doesn't match. Gabriella, whatever you're planning, please talk to me first. Clara, I miss my best friend. The last one broke something inside me. I dialed Vicente. The emails, I said when he answered. What exactly doesn't match? Timestamps in the metadata are from last week, but the emails are dated 6 months ago. Someone created them recently. Can you prove it? Already working on it, but Shiloh... He hesitated. If we're right about this, exposing him could put Clara in real danger. My hands clenched around the phone. What kind of danger? The kind that comes with 8-figure fraud. These aren't just transfers, it's systematic theft on a massive scale. And Clara's name is on everything. The colored shadows from the window had shifted, painting the damning folder in shades of blood red and bruised purple. I thought of Clara's signature on those documents, of Aiden's supposed gambling debts, of David's absolute confidence that I would back down. My phone lit up one final time. Clara, David says you're coming to dinner tonight. Please say yes. We can fix this. I touched the screen, tracing her words. My best friend, the person I was trying to save, the person I might destroy. Vicente, I said, how quickly can you prove those emails are fake? Give me 3 hours. I glanced at my watch. 6 hours until dinner. 6 hours to decide. Back down and let David win, or risk everything on one final play. Send me everything you find, I said. I'm done playing defense. I had a dinner party to prepare for. Clara's dinner table gleamed with the good china, candles flickering across familiar faces. Gabriella sat beside me, her knee pressed against mine in silent support. Across from us, David held court, telling some story about a client that made everyone laugh, everyone except Aiden, who kept checking his phone under the table. My own phone sat heavy in my pocket, loaded with Vicente's proof, the faked emails, the real transfers, everything. More wine, Shiloh? David's smile hadn't changed since our morning meeting. I'm good. My hand shook slightly as I covered my glass. 6 people around this table. Only 3 knew what was really happening. Clara touched my arm. You're quiet tonight. Just tired. I forced a smile. Work's been crazy. Speaking of work, David said, how's Vicente? The table went silent. Clara's hand withdrew from my arm. I wouldn't know, I said carefully. Haven't talked to him. Funny because he quit his job today. Very suddenly. David's eyes never left mine. Something about a family emergency in Argentina. My chest tightened. Vicente wasn't answering his phone. Hadn't been since his last message. Got everything. Will send from secure location. David, Clara said softly. We agreed no work talk tonight. You're right, honey. He raised his glass. To friends and family. The ones we can trust. The words hung in the air like poison. Gabriella's knee pressed harder against mine. Actually, I set down my fork. Let's talk about trust. Shiloh, Gabriella's warning whisper. But I was done waiting. Done watching David manipulate everyone around this table. Let's talk about offshore accounts and faked emails. Let's talk about why Vicente really left. Don't, Clara's voice cracked. Please. Show her the documents, Aiden said suddenly. David's head snapped toward him. What? The real ones. Aiden met my eyes. The ones proving you're setting my sister up to take the fall. Clara's wineglass crashed to the floor, red spread across white tablecloth like blood. You're drunk, David said, and bitter about the loan I wouldn't give you. The loan? Aiden laughed harshly. You mean the blackmail? Keep quiet about the fraud, or I tell everyone about your gambling debts. Debts that don't exist. My phone buzzed. Vicente's promised email had finally arrived. Clara, David reached for her hand. They're trying to destroy us, just like Shiloh tried with Jason, like Deborah did with her husband. No. I stood up, fingers trembling as I pulled up the files. We're trying to save her. From what? Clara whispered. From this. I turned my phone toward her. Every transfer, every fake email, every shell company, all dated and verified. He's stealing millions, Clara, and he's using your name to do it. Don't look, David commanded. But Clara was already reading, her face draining of color. These are my signatures, she said, but I didn't. Because he forged them. Aiden moved to her side. I found out last month. That's why he's been pushing the merger through so fast. Once it closes, the money disappears forever. David's mask finally cracked. You ungrateful little... I called the SEC. I cut in. They have everything. Vicente made sure of it before he left. The room froze. Even the candles seemed to hold their breath. You're lying. But David's eyes darted toward his phone. Check your email. I watched him pull it out, watched his face change as he read. They're probably at your office right now. He moved so fast I barely saw it. One moment he was sitting, the next he had Clara's arm in a brutal grip. You're coming with me. Let her go. Aiden stepped forward. She's my wife. She's my best friend. I met his eyes steadily. And you're not going anywhere. Blue and red lights flashed through the windows. Clara's neighbors had good timing, exactly when Gabriella said she'd call the police. David's grip tightened. Clara whimpered. It's over, I said quietly. Let her go. For one terrible moment I thought he'd hurt her, saw the calculation in his eyes, the desperate math of a cornered man. Then Clara twisted free. Her palm cracked across his face with years of betrayal behind it. The police burst in as he stumbled back. Everything dissolved into chaos. Shouting, handcuffs, Miranda rights competing with David's threats and accusations. Through it all, Clara stood silent, staring at the evidence still glowing on my phone screen, her whole world shattering in carefully documented detail. I'm sorry, I whispered. She turned to me, tears cutting through her perfect makeup. How long have you known? Not long enough. I reached for her hand, but long enough to stop it. She threaded her fingers through mine, squeezing hard enough to hurt. Outside, police lights painted the room in alternating red and blue, like the stained glass in the bar this morning. Like a warning, like redemption. Thank you, she whispered, for not giving up on me. The police station coffee tasted like burnt chalk, but I couldn't stop drinking it. Anything to keep my hands busy while Clara gave her statement in the next room. Through the window, I watched her gesture, shoulders straight despite everything, stronger than anyone had given her credit for, including me. You look terrible. Deborah appeared beside me, 2 fresh cups in hand. Better coffee? Thanks. I took one, studied my sister's face. How did you know to send Aiden those files? Because I recognized David's pattern. It's the same one Marcus used. Forge signatures, create fake emails, set up the spouse to take the fall. She sighed. I just wish I'd figured it out sooner with my own husband. You did what you could. No. She touched my arm. I did what I thought I had to do, alone. You did better. You built a team. The interview room door opened. Clara emerged, exhausted but resolute. Our eyes met through the glass. Go, Deborah said softly. She needs her best friend, not another detective. Clara was already walking toward the exit. I caught up with her in the parking lot, where false dawn painted everything in shades of grey. They found Vicente, I said. He's safe, testifying remotely. Good. She wrapped her arms around herself. The detective said they found more. Other women, other companies. David's been doing this for years. Clara, did I ever really know him? Her voice cracked. Or did I just see what I wanted to see? Sometimes the hardest person to trust is yourself. The words came from somewhere deep, somewhere I'd been avoiding. After Jason, I stopped trusting my own judgment, started seeing threats everywhere. But this time you were right. This time was different, because this time I wasn't alone. I touched her shoulder. I had Gabriella to question me, Vicente to find proof, Aiden to confirm my suspicions, even Deborah to show me a better way. And me? Her eyes met mine. What did you have in me? Everything. My throat tightened. You're why I had to be sure. Why I couldn't just burn everything down like before. Because you deserved better than scorched earth. She was quiet for a long moment. I got a call from Jason yesterday. My heart stuttered. What? He wanted to know if you were okay. Said he's been worried since he saw you at the coffee shop. She turned to face me fully. He told me what really happened back then, about the surprise party, about letting you believe the worst because he thought it would make the proposal more dramatic. Clara, let me finish. Her voice strengthened. He said his biggest regret wasn't losing you. It was teaching you not to trust yourself. The parking lot blurred. I was wrong about him. Yes, and you were right about David, because you learned to look for proof instead of just assuming. To build support instead of burning bridges. She squeezed my hand. You grew. My phone buzzed. Gabriella. Breakfast. We all need it. She's right, Clara said, reading over my shoulder. I'm starving. You sure you're up for company? I'm sure I don't want to be alone, she managed a weak smile. Besides, I need to thank Aiden properly and meet this mysterious Vicente who's been helping my best friend protect me. He's on video chat from Argentina. Even better, I've always wanted to practice my Spanish. We walked to my car together, shoulders brushing. The sky was lightening, turning the world from grey to gold, like truth emerging from shadows. Another text lit up my phone. Jason, proud of you. Clara watched me delete it without responding. You're not going to reply? No, I smiled, surprising myself with how much I meant it. That story's finished. I'm ready for a new one. Good. She linked her arm through mine. Because I have a feeling my story's just beginning, and I'm going to need my best friend to help me write it. My phone buzzed one final time. Deborah. Coming to breakfast. We have a lot to catch up on, little sister. The sun crested the horizon as we drove, painting everything in fresh light. Ahead, I could see Gabriella waiting outside the diner, Aiden beside her, my sister's car pulling in, Vicente's face on a tablet screen, ready to join us, a team, a family, a truth hard won but worth the fight. Ready? Clara asked as we parked. I thought of David in his cell, of Jason's unread text, of all the paths that had led here, of trust destroyed and rebuilt, stronger in its broken places. Ready, I said, and stepped into the light,